Welcome to Austin, Texas, the live music capital of the world and a seat of innovation. Every year, thousands, hundreds of thousands of people come flooding into the city for events and festivals such as Austin City Limits and Formula One. South by Southwest is happening right now in our town, where last year over 70,000 people came into town to listen to over 2,000 conference sessions and 5,000 speakers. The leaders and stars of the film industry and the music industry and technology all come together, and the news bounces around, and there's a real buzz in town. It's interesting that Jesus chose one of the major festivals, the biggest festival of his time, the Passover, to put on his great work on full display for the world to see. It was the Passover celebration in Jerusalem that people from all over the world, Jews and converts to Judaism, came to one city at one place and one time to commemorate their emancipation from slavery in Egypt many years before, but also to share news about what was happening in the world. Jesus, when he came into town, there was a real buzz about him because people thought that he would change their lives on the outside, maybe give them more food or make them rich or overthrow the oppressive Roman government. But as the week went by, he didn't grow in popularity, but in fact, the people began to sour on him. Instead of talking about these big life changes, he was talking about an inward change and peace and love from God, a forgiveness that would start from the heart of God and go to the people and usher in a kingdom of heaven, not a kingdom on this earth. By Thursday of that week, he was arrested, and on Friday, the people called for his head. They asked that the Roman government put him to death on a cross, and they got their way, even though he hadn't done anything wrong. Outside of that city, there he was, suspended between heaven and earth. And with his last breaths, he said, "It is finished." And when he said it was finished and gave up his breath, he was actually breathing new life into humanity. Because where there was once brokenness between us and God, and there was sin that separated us from him forever, Jesus took it all on himself on that cross. And he did usher in a new kingdom, a kingdom of righteousness, a kingdom of love and forgiveness, a kingdom that starts in the heart by faith in Jesus and brings us to God forever. I wonder why Jesus chose that festival. He chose the time when the whole world's eyes were on Jerusalem. Maybe he chose it because, just like the Passover lamb that they were celebrating, the lamb that was once slaughtered and its blood put on the doorposts to save people, maybe Jesus was communicating to the people that he was the final lamb that would be sacrificed, and that when his blood is put over the mantle of your heart, that you have been freed from your sin and death forever. Maybe he chose that time at that festival when people were coming in from all over the world, and different races and different cultures melded together, and Jesus wanted to put on full display the love of God that wasn't just for the Jewish people, but for the people of the whole world, regardless of culture or race or skin color. Maybe Jesus chose that festival so that those people that cried for his blood and got caught up in that mass mentality and they sinned, maybe he wanted to show them that where there is sin and there's a mass mentality to go along with culture, that there's forgiveness and grace for the individual that gets caught up in that. Maybe he chose the festival because it was there that there would be a buzz created about this Son of God, Jesus Christ of Nazareth, who was put to death on a cross and rose again, and that his message would go out from there to Judea, to Samaria, to the ends of the earth, and that message would get to you today. How about you? What news have you heard recently? What buzz has there been? Has it been bad news? Has it been less than fulfilling? Maybe you've poured your life into trying to fix the brokenness yourself. Well, Jesus puts on display his love for you, and he fixes your brokenness on that same cross. Maybe you've put your hope into the very things that we celebrate as good things, the technology, the education, the advancements in this world, the small screen in your hands, and yet every time that you go there, you leave with a feeling of emptiness. If you have, return back to that festival 2,000 years ago in Jerusalem, when the Son of God put on display God's greatest innovation, his love for you.